Try this once more with the Virtual Grip Network and the Bootleg Racing League. We welcome you to the Grand National Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen as we get ready to go racing at an old favorite. Myrtle Beach Speedway is on the docket tonight here on Virtual Grip Network. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside of the booth tonight is Marty Sakawa, our producer Daniel Handover. Marty, tonight, blast from the past as this track no longer exists in the real world, but it's still a series staple in the virtual world.
Absolutely an incredible track, Justin. One of Dale Jr.'s lost speedways. I don't know how you cannot love Myrtle Beach Speedway. A unique short track, unlike any other. The front chute has that little curve, kind of like Richmond before you come across the start-finish line. Low line going to be key. 13 degrees of turns in the bankings. But those first set of corners, always ones to be interesting on entrance and exit.
There's a lot to discuss when it comes to tonight. Keep in mind with the pressure on for some of the drivers, especially with how tight the championship's been faring out. But as we talked about, Myrtle Beach is on the docket. Drivers have been already preparing themselves for a practice session. For this circuit, let's take a look in sim at how things are faring out for the drivers. They're just moments away from the start of tonight's action. 1 point separates the top driver to the standings. Matthew Thunhorst 1 point up over J.R. Shepard. The rest of the championship competitors, though, need to gain at least 16 points to join the championship fray. Already, though, we have one driver standing by who will be our in-race reporter for this evening's action. Austin Belkey will get a quick word with, as these drivers are just moments away from the starting grid. Austin, you come into tonight 4th in the point standings, 217 points to your name, just 20 points back to Matthew Thunhorst. How are you feeling entering tonight, first of all?
Hey, Justin, feeling pretty good. Hopefully we can give this T-Rex a pretty good ride here.
Second thing second, real quickly before you get rolling for this starting grid, your feelings about tonight's race.
Feeling pretty good. I like the track. I've had some pretty up and down luck in the earlier races. Missing a couple fast drivers here tonight, so hopefully we'll be able to come home with a pretty good result.
Discuss that in just a moment. Thank you very much, Austin. We'll let you get to the racetrack.
Thanks, guys.
Austin Belkey, he'll be throwing back to the T-Rex car that Jeff Gordon drove in the 1990s. And already, the drivers are making their way to the starting grid for tonight's action. Let's discuss how those competitors will line up this evening here from Myrtle Beach. On the pole with the 8-car invert from the previous round, Ryan Seneker's on the pole. Donnie Moore starts the outside. That is Austin Belkey and Justin Morton in row 2. As mentioned, a few drivers who finished top 8 last time out did not make this race. Those drivers, in turn, helped Matthew Thunhorst and J.R. Shepard start 5th and 6th. Tim Shanowski and Kurt Smith round out the top 8. 9th and 10th go to Bruce Pearson and Todd Liston Marty.
Ruben Altis and Joe Segala in row number 6. Adam Shane, Mark Herzog in row 7. Jeff Harden and Steven Spees, I believe, making his first start with this series on the outside of row number 8. And now rounding out the caboose of the field, Mike Holloway and the professor, John Hine. Now, we just had an update, by the way, coming in. I believe Donnie Moore will start from the rear of the field. He was just given an EOL penalty. So that, in turns, will move up Justin Moore into 2nd on the grid. And then J.R. Shepard will start from 4th.
That's going to be very, very big for the 98 machine. As you see, once again, your starting lineup, 18 drivers on the grid for tonight's action. Bootleg Racing League Grand National Series competition brought to you by Gargamel's Kitchen, a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, and a proud sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. Their office at 2045 South Valentia Street, or give them a call at 720-707-6178. The drivers, in turn, are just about all set to go. Ryan Seneker in control of the field, Justin Morton to his outside. Green flag is out, we're underway from South Carolina.
Looks like a stack up midfield. Bruce Pearson did not get going from the start and caused a huge stack up all the way back to the 9th position. But meanwhile, it's Seneker leading, but more into the inside for the lead in 3.
Morton trying to wrap the bottom. Seneker giving plenty of space up top. Seneker leads the first time around. Kurt Smith with a big bobble losing ground meanwhile. Hearing that Donnie Moore was having technical issues, hence why he was given an end of longest line penalty. And the caution is out, and it's Joe Segala in a similar incident to what happened in the modifieds, this time in turn 1, as he loops it around right off the front nose of Mark Herzog.
Yeah, I'll get a replay for you. Stand by, but this was a solo car spin. He had no help. You take a look at the replay here. You know, the entry of turn 1 was something I was going to watch out for very closely. The driver's just wheel hopping. That's what happened with Segala. And there was some net code help as well that came from the 57 of Mark Herzog. They were in a battle for 10th position. And let's hope Segala doesn't come away with too much major damage.
Taking our right on board. Did you see just how loose Segala was going into the corner? That contact just finishing the job, so to speak. In turn, Segala to the very tail end of the field as a result after struggling in some of the earlier events. Now keep in mind that Gargamel's Kitchen, the title sponsor for this respective series, has signed on for the next 3 seasons, meaning Gargamel's Kitchen will be backing this series all the way through to 2022's completion. However, this series also switches to super late models, Marty, for next campaign, for the next iRacing season.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know if there's going to be really too much of a difference between driving an R-Car and a super late model. Probably the only big exception is it'll be a little bit more tougher for the drivers to try and get back on the throttle, because those cars, in my opinion, the rear ends are a whole lot lighter than you see on ARCA cars today.
And it, when you think about it too, Marty, would close an era that's lasted now 9 seasons in the Grand National Series era for the Saturday night broadcasted split. Before that, it was modified action. That was the premier event of the card before it switched over to Grand National. That's all the way back from 2020, mind you, for the early stages of that year. That's how long the series has been running this ARCA Menards machine and its Chevrolet National Impala for its top broadcasted night race on Saturdays.
It's absolutely crazy. You know, probably the first season I didn't even have iRacing, so if that makes you feel a little bit old there, Justin. I'm looking forward to seeing what the super late models will do. They always put on a good show on iRacing, no matter what.
Drivers, though, are all set to get back underway. 7 cautions last time at Southern National for reference. For that clean run. Weeks ago. Green flag is out for restart number 1. Ryan Seneca still the race leader, but Justin Morton trying to get the top line to work. Watch row 2, though, because Shepard and Thunhorst are right there side by side.
Yeah, remember Shepard got that advantage thanks to Donnie Moore going from the rear due to technical difficulties and was immediately able to get up to row number 2 on this restart. Top 4 look like they're doing pace laps at speeds of just over 100 miles an hour, and Morton on the outside gets the pass to work. Matthew Thunhorst wants second, and he's got it.
That was the worst timing I think Shepard could have had for that. It looked like Seneca backed up the entry, Marty, knowing the pace difference with Morton, and Shepard loses the spot to Thunhorst as a result. That gives Thunhorst a 2-point advantage in the points for now.
Yeah, definitely. I was just about to say that. You know, it's not what Shepard wants because he's in a tight battle. These two have gone at it all season, and for the past few seasons, I should say in general. We got 4 races left to go after this. You cannot be losing positions like this at the moment. Race leader Justin Morton, by the way, quickest lap of the race at a 19:31.
Interesting thing is going to be if he can keep that type of tempo up at the front. Remember, Morton had some tire wear issues a few weeks ago over in Pensacola, Florida. Side by side, by the way, just cleared on by for 4 for Austin Belkey. Ryan Seneca is stuck side by side with Tim Janowski for 5th. Everybody else is trying to use the second line here tonight. And it seems partly down to track preference, Marty, but also where the rubber buildup is. We've talked about how the bottom looks strong at a lot of different tracks to start, but as the races go on, people have come to realize if you get the run on the high side, you can make it work, and it's ending up being the faster line because you can pinch the driver on the bottom down.
Yeah, you know, if you missed us last week at Southern National Motorsports Park, that was a big thing that went down, especially on restarts. Drivers getting that banking on the high side as momentum. I know SNMP is steeply banked compared to what Myrtle Beach looks like. However, though, it just gives you a whole much better exit compared to the drivers, because if you go on the gas and the exit, your car can get sideways for sure when on the lower groove.
Belkey and Herzog are also clear on by. Seneca doesn't want to give up the 7th and 8th positions, though, because Todd Liston's trying to move up to 7th, and Spees, to correct you, is a part-time driver who's been in that role for seasons now, for several, in fact. He wants a chance at the top 8 fight as well, right behind this 07 and company.
Gotta give a shout to Steven Spees, one of the better drivers from the rear of the field, up 7 positions from the drop of the green flag. Started in 16th spot, he's up to 9th, and Seneca is going backwards and backwards, where he could be in a situation where he may not be able to compete for the front row for next week's race at Lanier.
That would be a tough break because, remember, Spees usually, based on his trends, Marty, makes a race, then has to miss a race. Makes a race, then has to miss a race. Which in turn, remember, if you don't make it to the top 8, if you're a top 8 finisher and don't make it to the next round, it ends up essentially taking you out of that equation. You don't essentially just slot up amongst the top 8. Here is the look at Spees in particular. Seneca not making it easy still. Trying to fight hard to the inside, a bit of a pinch, and Spees is clear. Adam Shane trying to follow suit now on the 19.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see here during these short runs when the drivers all have this fresh rubber at the moment, we're 17 laps in, drivers are going to want that higher groove. However, though, maybe once we get into a long run, drivers are going to try the low line. However, though, there's a big thing that you and I talked about pre-race, Justin, in turns 1 and 2. They've got those turtles there in turn 1 and 2 that separate the apron from the track. If you hit one of those turtles, if you go over them, I should say specifically, you could lose a motor.
Exactly, and it's something that, for most drivers in this series, they haven't faced, but I've seen it happen many times. You try and duck down, get a run underneath. Forget that those turtles hurt. In turn, can crunch you on in. Here's the look trending towards Gilles Segala. I never really noticed how mean those headlights would look with those eyeballs.
Oh my gosh. What is that supposed to be? Is that supposed to be like Lightning McQueen's evil twin brother?
No, it's supposed to intimidate you and make you scared whenever you see him in the mirror.
That is true. He should have something on the front bumper in reflection that says, "Warning, eyes are closer than they appear."
That's for the 16th position, by the way. Donnie Moore is the car in front. Segala's still struggling to keep up after his spin earlier. Of note, not just +8 for Spees. Mark Herzog is also the +8. Also, Shane and Seneca have just swapped around because, well, Shane's forced to try the inside.
Yeah, just taking a look back here throughout the field. Yeah, Shane's got that on the inside. No pinch coming from Seneca. Seneca does just not really have the car dialed to him. I know yes, it's fixed setups, but it's just not the car that's dialed to his material at the moment.
Taking a look back at the race leaders, meanwhile, Thunhorst is starting to drop back a little bit, losing a couple 100s each time the past couple. The average the past 10, though, how close can you get? How about 1/1000th of a second difference between Morton and Thunhorst per lap? This may end up for this run, though, because Joe Segala just slammed the wall down the backstretch. Prevented from spinning the whole way around, though. The 81 keeps it green for now, but lost the pack.
Absolutely. I'll give credit to Segala. Made a nice save there in that situation. Now, if you missed us last week, Segala was a part of a crazy moment at Southern National Motorsports Park. I believe it was him, if I recall correctly, that nearly took out J.R. Shepard while they were battling for the race win. I have to go back and recall it. I'll let you know in just a moment.
It's been an interesting season, I will say, for Joe Segala, especially when it comes to how to make saves. As we see the battle still going on, Ryan Seneca or Adam Shane. If anything, this burns up the 79's tires. Seneca is not making up ground on that top line at all. Shane is losing ground with this fight. How about a full second back of Liston now?
Oh, it always does when you lose ground, when you're trying to go side by side. You're losing momentum. You don't just see it at Myrtle Beach. You also see it at tracks like Martinsville, no matter whatever series you go to, or even Dover and New Hampshire, because you're just putting so much fight in the wheel, just trying to keep that car, keep the grip into it, and just try and pass the guy at the same time. By the way, I can confirm that it was Seneca that spun out right in front of J.R. Shepard last week at Southern National Motorsports Park. It was crazy.
Potentially with the traffic, who knows if it happens again here today, since this is a track where the longer the run goes, our chances for drivers to loop it off of turn 4 in particular. Seen several times with worn tires. Austin Belkey is leading Pack 2, by the way, and for our in-race reporter, he is currently 4 seconds back of the race leader. Tim Chinowski, Mark Herzog, Steven Spies are also hanging out in this pack that's 4th through 7th.
I think at this moment for these drivers, they're just being a little bit patient. Well, as I say that, Herzog decides to make a send to the bottom of Chinowski, and man, he just hit the easy button. I don't know if I've ever seen an easy pass like Herzog made, or if Chinowski just said, I'm just going to let you go. It ain't worth it to race you hard at this point.
Knowing the trends of the race, do you really want to fight this hard for a position, though? That's the thing for tires. After all, there's the saying, fight hard in the first 20 laps, you pay for it by the time lap 40 or 30 comes around, depending on some of the racetracks. Here's a look at some of the drivers who are busy fighting and potentially burning up the rubber. These drivers are 2 to 3 tenths off the pace of the race leaders currently in the midst of this train.
I think the longest pack we've got at the moment is you see Shane looking inside on Liston. Nope, doesn't work there. I think Liston had the outbreak, but Liston's car really tight at the moment, all the way up right next to the wall. Almost got up into the attic of the track, and Shane, I think, will take advantage of this big time. And yeah, Liston will just let him go. I think he's used up his tires early. Update on the lead, by the way. Thunderhurst has closed in down to 0.2 of a second on Morton. However, though, Shepard in third is just watching them at the moment. Currently, 0.7 is the delta behind Thunderhurst.
So Morton and Thunderhurst still bumper to bumper. Shepard still saving, mind you, as we take a look still in this grouping. Liston nearly knocks the wall down. The battle now for 9th position. As Seneca watches all this, keep in mind this is something Todd Liston's had issues with all season, Marty. Preserving the tires. Around this point of a long run, we've seen several times this season Liston just fall off a cliff on pace.
Yeah, and I think if I recall correctly, that happened to him as well at Hickory, right? Where he was riding the wall or something, or clipped the wall and then just ended his stay like that or something.
Trouble behind him.
Yeah, that's Altice in the 11. I think Kurt Smith just had an issue as I take a look. Oh, there was just a stack up in front of Smith with Harden in the 44. And Altice just takes advantage of it big time. And I'm not sure if Smith's going to be happy about that for sure.
Right on behind him as well. A bit of a very high line for Bruce Pearson. Mike Holloway driving with the Nutrien AG Solutions machine colors tonight. Trying to ride the bottom as well. I'm always curious where he finds these specific sponsors that just so happen to have all his fonts on them, or if he has them made.
Yeah, that's a good question. I really like the scheme that Bruce Pearson always has every week. It's probably number 2 compared to Austin Belkey whenever he has the daily DuPont schemes, or the weekly DuPont schemes, I should say. Yeah, that's one interesting scheme for sure, Justin.
Checkups meanwhile, because Jeffrey Harden wants to make the move on Liston. And the thing I keep noticing in this pack, Liston is absolutely missing the braking mark, Marty. There is the saying, going too hard into the corner. He's going a good 10, 15 feet deeper every entry than everybody else around him.
Yeah, this is something that I was noticing as well, trying to test drive my machine pre-race. It seems like that there's one sweet spot that's going to work all around, and you have to hit that sweet spot if you want a good corner. If you're just outside of it, and I think you see it right there, Liston, I think, tried to outbrake Smith, but it doesn't work. I think he may be using too much brake there. However, though, if there's little lesser brake than normal, because if you use like maybe a little bit too much brake, the car can really wheel hop, and then that can bring a yellow out like we saw in the first yellow of the race. Let's
Yeah.
Let's see if we can try and ride from the visor cam of Liston or in car and just see what he's driving like. See if we can get that from Daniel.
We'll see if we can get a look here, indeed, because there's the saying, too, especially if you're someone who may not have raced as much time. And I think you need to see the wheels specifically to get what we're referring to, because if you put this much amount of wheel, watch right here, when you're putting 45 degrees of wheel angle plus, that is shredding your right front tire off.
That's not even good at all. I would love to be Goodyear, fictional Goodyear, taking a look at that right front after the race on the iRacing settings. And you could even see it as well on the front end of the car. Before we went on board with him, you could notice the front bumper, the valence of the car, so much air just above the asphalt that it would just turn it in so hard. It's like the left front, or the right front I should say rather, is just digging in to the track as well. It's just, Liston's in big trouble here.
Compare that to everybody else. I just went clicked through of all the drivers in front of him. They're putting in half the wheel input he is to make it around the same corners. And now, when you burn up the right front like that, it's a compounded issue. You put too much wheel at the start, burns up the right front, overheats it. You put too much wheel in to try and compensate, it overheats the right rear, right front more. It's an endless cycle loop that he's now in.
Yeah, and there is, I know these are fixed setups, there is one setting as well that drivers can change, and I learned this through iRacing legendary content creator David Shieldhouse, and that is the steering ratio. Always varies depending on what car and what track you were driving. I think he's got a steering ratio that's just way off the charts compared to everyone else. He may have to watch that video Shieldhouse put up.
You mean 16-1?
Yes. I'm not a big setup guy, so it's either 8-1 or 16-1, whatever it is.
For 8-1, it's essentially very minimum wheel movement.
Yeah.
16-1 considered more wheel movement, yes, but it also saves the tires more. That's the perception, at least. But it's all down to preference, track to track. But we're halfway through the run this time around. We're seeing some of the battles still heat on up. The race lead still Justin Morton, Matthew Thunhurst, J.R. Shepard, the top three. Seneca and Kurt Smith are fighting. Best run for Kurt Smith all season. Last time he was in this position, he pulled off the track.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know he started from the 8th position in this race. However, though, he has moved his way up into 11th spot, looking by Ryan Seneca. And yeah, Seneca is just having a rough night as well. But yeah, give credit to Kurt Smith with the way he's driving. I mean, I know he would like to see maybe a bunch of yellows in the front half of the pack to try and get himself up into that top 10, but he's got a lot of time, though. 3/4 of a second ahead is Ruben Altis in that end of the top 10 spot.
Donnie Moore also having a solid run. He's had a lot of struggles the past few years. Started off well in this series. Usually was a contender for the inversion spot. Has been trying to gain that momentum back for seasons now. 26. You have Hallway, who's having not the greatest of runs. He showed flashes of speed this season. Seneca, though, his tires off a cliff, running 20.5s compared to the lead group, who is nearly there, running 20.1s. And how close are they? How about
close.
Straight away?
Absolutely, yeah. The leaders are definitely approaching lap traffic, which could be a big issue, especially when you have drivers like Joe Segala and John Hine that are side by side right in front of the leader. This could definitely get interesting for sure, Justin. There's a pack of drivers as well. Could see a Hornets nest develop here shortly.
This could get tricky, especially with how these drivers are fighting side by side. They have to deal with Todd Liston and his right front tire that's on fire. They also have John Hine, who is running last on track in the crew shop machine in the 21.
Oh, trouble. Adam Shane just spun around in the 79, and he's brought that to the pits. The yellow flag is out. He got up in the wall. We'll have to see a replay here.
Oh, and this could be something that could be looked at here because he was keeping up in 8th position in the inversion spots, and then He just went straight into the wall in the corner because I think he full throttled it into the wall and had a steering issue.
It's like he had a controller issue or something. Like, I don't even think he wasn't even laying off the gas until late into turn number 3. It's like he had like no brakes at all. I've never seen that.
I think his steering broke. Right here is where he loses input for the throttle. Right here is where he loses the steering and just has to park it.
Man, that's a tough break for Adam Shane. Absolutely is, and it ends that long run. And I think as well, if you are the leaders, you can take a breath because you don't have to deal with lap traffic anymore.
Indeed. Interesting to say the very least. After all of that, is with that long run, why don't we get the chance to talk with Austin Belkey? Austin, you're in 4th position. Now group back up to the race leaders with the caution. How are you feeling?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't think I have anything for him. I was trying to save my tires, but it's really hard to, and I got, Mark and Tim on me, so we'll see what we have here.
How difficult has it been to try and make sure you save those tires in turn, as you talked about a bit, while making sure at the same time you don't get yourself ran over?
I don't know. I mean, it's just a really hard line of making sure you only go as fast as the people behind you make you go. For a while, it was pretty easy to just kind of run my own pace, but then as soon as Mark got up to me, you really got to start nailing stuff and make sure you're not turning the wheel more than you need to.
So what are your expectations of what we're going to see for these final 40 or so laps, whether from you or from up front?
Well, I expect the high line to become more dominant. I feel like if you get a really good restart right here, because you're on the high side, you might be on the low side next time, and we'll just have to see which line ends up winning.
Once you get back to the restart coming up here, good luck.
Thank you.
Austin Belkey restarting in 4th position in the Different Path Motorsports machine. As mentioned, throwing back to that very infamous All-Star race car that was so good, it never raced again.
Absolutely. Park that one, put it in the Hall of Fame.
Sure, let's call it that. Morning off and away we go. Tires sliding. Dunhorse not with a good launch at all on the outside. Morning pulling off and away as Shepard tries to battle for second.
Yeah, that's going to help out J.R. Shepard here big time. Oh, he wasn't even... I thought I was going to make the pass there in 1 and 2. But yeah, like we talked about earlier, the short runs, the outside, the place to be, and Dunhorse almost got up to the quarter panel of Morton. They're going at it for the race lead.
Dunhorse with his best chance to battle for the lead to the quarter panel now of Morton. Can he force Morton to stay low is the question. Side by side, Dunhorse deeper on the brakes. Here comes Shepard to fall on the outside as well. Belkey is also keeping within range with Mark Herzog. This time by Dunhorse leads.
Real quick update on Adam Shane. It was confirmed he had pedal issues. That's what put him in the wall and took him out of the race. Race still on for the lead, though. Look at Dunhorst around the outside. Is it going to work? Oh, he almost got loose there in the center of 3 and 4, but I think he clears Morgan at the line. Yes, barely.
Morton not giving up, though. Trying to send it hard on the brakes. Misses the bottom. Bit of a slide now from Morton, but Dunhorse fully clear for the entry to turns 3 and 4. Shepard now going for second.
This is not where Morton wants to be right now on this short run. That's considered no man's land at the moment. If he could just pull up right here, get to the outside. It's risky here, though, because if you go a groove higher on the exit, that's going to want to make Shepard take advantage because he's going to have full speed.
This lead group 5 cars deep for those that are within a car length of each other. A few car lengths back is Tim Shinowski in 6th. Dunhorse, though, now running his line.
And look ahead, Mark Herzog. How about this? This may be the best run we've seen from him this season. Currently running in 5th, and he's hunting down Belkey for 4th. That is a run that he cannot be disappointed at all of, from 14th to 5th.
The last time we seen him run this well, it was at 5 Flags, and he nearly won the race before his tires went off a cliff with about 10 laps to go. Shepard still holding on to the quarter panel of Morton. Can't find a way around. And that could hurt the 98. If he has to keep pushing, that might hurt his chances to get the Dunhorse if he can even clear the 9.
Absolutely. Remember, 1 point lead. Dunhorse coming on into the night. And Right now, it is up 3. Shepard does not want to be in this situation where he may have to deal with 3rd or, who knows, possibly even 4th. They are going at it hard as we're about to put 69 nice laps on the board.
70 laps now started this time around. Mind, Spees is also within this grouping in 7th with one of his best runs the campaign. He entered tonight with 22 points in the 55.
Oh, one guy in the pits, Jeffrey Harden with an issue. And I think he may be, I don't know if he's parked it for the evening. He's done. He's parked it for the evening and just get a tow back in. I'll double check and see what happened.
So now 2 drivers in the pit lane. One with pedal issues. One will find out the issue with Harden's situation. I'm really liking what I'm seeing for Austin Belkey, though, Marty, because
You're good.
he talked about moments ago, he didn't think he'd have anything for these guys. He's putting up his best laps of the race now.
It's incredible. Look at the gap. Nearly 1 second. It's all thanks to those drivers going side by side for a second. And it's developing a hornet's nest here. Because Shinosky, Spees has entered the pack as well. Look at Spees trying to make this pass for 6th position work. Now, Spees is the biggest mover of this race. And Shepard, I don't know how he is not able to get by. This is crazy.
They are nearly a full second back of the 8 car now with how heavy they've been fighting. 20
A tenth faster.
Yeah, they're losing a tenth a lap with this fight, and Shepard finally backs it down.
Oh, he got the wall.
He knocks the wall. He did scrape it a bit, yes. He is loose on entry trying to send it, can't get there.
Not what he wants at the moment, and he's got Belkey all over his rear view mirror. Dinosaurs all over for him, and Shepard's in a situation where he's trying to avoid being eaten by that dinosaur.
Belkey trying to find any way he can to get around. He is backing up the corners, Belkey right now is. So keeping things close. Jeffrey Harden, meanwhile, has confirmed he has had a work commitment. Force him to park his 44, 16 running. Under 25 laps to go now. Thunhorse with the biggest lead of the race at nearly a full second. As we take a look towards the back and some of the fighting for 12th.
Yeah, that's right. That's Joe Segala after being a part of the first yellow of the race inside on Ryan Seneker. And I think Segala's got that working out. By the way, an update on who could get pole position next week at Lanier. Ruben Altis currently with provisional pole, and Tim Shinosky provisionally outside front row.
Ruben Altis had some good speed, so he might be in a great spot there. Tim Shinosky, he's ran a majority of the races, should also be in a good position to try and hold on early, depending on how things fare out. He has been known to have a lot of give and take. Donnie Moore coming into the pit lane from his best run of the season. He has decided not to finish the run for some reason.
And this is probably, with all that speeding he did in the pits, probably going to lead to a black flag. I'm baffled by this, too. We'll double check and see what the update is on Donnie Moore, but that is pretty much a park for the race at the moment. It's still listed as pit road, not listed as out of the race just yet.
Meanwhile, Austin Belkey going for the door of his teammate.
Oh!
Shepard forced to the high side.
And Shepard, if you notice there on the exit of 2, just got a little bit loose. I don't know if it resulted in that contact, but it is getting crazy, and I have a feeling that Mark Herzog in that 57 is taking big notes, and I think Steven Spees wants to take notes too, because Herzog just got loose. This is incredible racing.
Remember, Austin Belkey received assistance just a few seasons ago to start things off for Different Path Motorsports. Shepard is not making it easy on his protege. Belkey trying to clear on the inside. Shepard stuck on the high side, losing his tires. Going hard on the brakes again. Herzog in the popcorn seat. Better run on the inside for Belkey. Shepard, though, gets the power back down to keep it side by side. 18 to go. And Shepard is bouncing around on every entry.
And it was Belkey who led it at the start-finish line. Yes, you said it. The front end of that phalanx. Watch that closely going into the corners, how that's just going all the way down. We saw a lot of this last week at, excuse me, I should think 2 weeks ago. Actually, pardon me, at sorry. Last week at Southern National Motorsports Park, I think we saw a lot of that.
Austin Belkey is clear for third, looking for what would be one of the few podiums he's gotten this season. Shepard, look at that crossover, though. Floors it to get back to the inside. Nearly spins it.
That's one of the best exits I've seen all season long by a guy like J.R. Shepard. Only him can do something like that. But, you know, Belkey got loose down the back chute. Shepard does not want to be in this position. Live standings would have him down 4 points.
Keep in mind, in this grouping, some of the drivers getting very squiggly off the corners. Keep an eye on Speeds in particular. He's bobbled off turn 2 straight laps. No bobble this time, with Tim Shanowski keeping pressure behind. Alti still holding on to the inversion pole sitting spot at the moment with 14 to go at the stripe.
I don't know if Altis wants to fight for 7th or if he wants to just let back and fight for a pole, because also in this battle is Kurt Smith in the number 6. That'd be a big surprise to many if he started on pole position next week at Lanier. Meanwhile, Mark Herzog all over J.R. Shepard for 4th position. Can you believe that, Justin? Oh, yeah.
Altis hit the wall. Altis checks up the grouping. Kurt Smith tries to get the run, can't do anything. Holloway, if anything, wants to do something.
Smith just being patient at the moment. He knows he has a faster car compared to Altis. A lot of time to work here as we've got 12 laps to go. If you were to compare that, that'd pretty much be like 240 seconds, like 6 minutes left. Or 4 minutes left.
You're mentioning that battle for 4th, by the way, with Herzog and company. Not able to get him moved quite yet is Mark Herzog, but of note, look at the timing pylon. Austin Belkey is coming. He is the quickest driver on the racetrack the past 2 laps. 20.1s. Fun Horse is running a 1/10 of a second slower.
Absolutely. You just shut the words right out of my mouth. If Belkey wants to come at Matthew Thunhurst, 1.5 seconds back. Oh, man, it'd come down to a half second. So I think at this rate for Belkey, he'll probably need a caution if he wants a chance to win. At that time by, he cut down almost a 1/10.
Down to under 10 laps to go, coming to 9 to go this time by. Things settling down for the moment as you see the battle for the lead is down to half a second. That is because Justin Morton's also picked up the pace. He is also running the 20.1s. Belkey lost a bit of ground this time. Thunhorst really starting to struggle.
Kurt Smith is off the track, by the way. He was just in that lead pack moments ago. He got turned around by... No, he lost it all by himself. Went into the infield grass and careened the inside wall. It was a hard head-on shot. Here's the replay for you. Just lost it all by himself, and boom. My goodness. Maybe even took the concrete out.
Kurt Smith's best run of the season goes for naught. He's now out of the race. 14 running for 7 more laps to go. Just a few laps away from the point of no return as well.
My
traffic
goodness.
is ahead too.
Morton and Belkey are each a 10th faster than Matthew Thunhurst. Hang on, folks. This is not over yet. Morton is in striking distance, coming to 6 to go, and they've got the tire-smoking Todd Liston.
Morton has started to really launch into the corners, and Liston, stuck on the outside line, is trying to completely go hand over wheels. He's staying on the top line, though.
That nearly got close.
Liston nearly into the wall trying to let him go, in fact. That may not help Belkey here. Belkey able to reach at the perfect time instead.
5 laps to go. This time half a 10th faster, and Liston's in the wall. Keep in mind, if it brings out a caution flag, I don't think we would go back to green next lap.
We're at the point of no return already. Morton, though, needs to find a way to close up 4/10 to be able to fight. Belkey is within 9/10 of a second of the lead. Thunhorst looking to hold on for just 3.5 more times around.
Check and look. That's last time by. Morton was faster by 100th. Think he's in the situation where he's stuck behind. He's got nothing to do but just to use different methods of using the throttle and the brake to avoid hitting Matthew Thunhurst in front of him. That time they were 400ths quicker. Oh, there's the yellow!
It's Ruben Altis! Ruben Altis from the inversion!
Position. And that will give Joe Segala provisional pole for next week. But more importantly, this race is over. If Thunderhorse can come across the line for the next 1.5 laps, he will take the win and extend his points lead to 4.
Let's take a look. Herzog is the trigger, I feel, because watch this.
Oh my goodness, that was just a major stack up. I don't know what to say about that.
Herzog went for the sender underneath Spees, checked up everyone behind, dime in the corner across Shanelski's nose, which got Shanelski turned across Altis's nose.
Yeah, just a bad corner, I would say, for Herzog there, and just leads to that accordion effect, kind of like what we saw back in 2002 at Talladega in the Cup Series when that big one broke out in the spring. So, but off of turn 4, Matthew Thunderhorst about to celebrate with another W, Justin.
Matthew Thunderhorst, he had to work hard for this one, was losing ground and quick in the final stages, but in the end, he's your winner at Myrtle Beach. BRL Grand National Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen. Justin Moore in second, Austin Belkey rounds out the top 3. Shepard and Spees finish inside the top 5. This is completed under caution with 14 finishers at the end here at Myrtle Beach.
That is definitely a heartbreaking night for J.R. Shepard, finishing in 4th position. I think the best run for Belkey, if I recall correctly, as well. And Thunderhorst about to do some donuts.
He has finished inside the top 3 once before this campaign, but for Thunderhorst, celebration is on for the number 8 machine. He usually does the Polish victory lap before he makes his way for his victory photo. Let's take a look at the unofficial results. Thunderhorst, Morden, Belkey, Shepard, and Spees, top 5. Of note, Spees 16th to 5th for his run. Mark Herzog finished in 6th with Mike Holloway in 7th. Segala, Shanowski, Seneca the top 10. Segala is in that inversion spot pole.
And Tim Shanowski 9th, Ryan Seneca 10th, Bruce Pearson 11th, Ruben Altis 12th. Got a tough break for Altis as well. And Shanowski, again, we talked about it, involved in that last yellow. We're in an inversion spot. And John Hine 13th, Todd Liston 14th, Kurt Smith, Donnie Moore, Jeff Harden, Adam Shane did not finish this race.
We've talked about the running order for tonight's action. We'll take a quick step aside. Post-race coverage coming up right after this. You're watching the Grand National Series competition presented by Gargamel's Kitchen here on the Virtual Grip Network. Stay tuned. Welcome back once more to tonight's coverage here on the Virtual Grip Network. Justin Prince, Marty Sakawa, Daniel Handover, producer for tonight. As no photo finish tonight. In fact, the finish is under yellow. Matt, tonight you're the winner here at Myrtle Beach, leading 38 of 100 laps. How are you feeling to be able to stretch your points gap even more so over J.R. Shepard?
Sorry. Yeah, it was one of those things. Kind of got lucky with that caution that happened about mid-race, and yeah, it was kind of weird making that pass on Justin, because that top side wasn't there like he was in seasons past. Kind of get to the center of the corner, all of a sudden the car just didn't want to turn, and didn't do a very good job of saving my right front. And all of a sudden, here I come, seeing the Austin and Justin come hauling up. I'm like, oh no, and they just did a better job taking care of their tires than I did tonight, and I don't know. It was going to be close either way, with or without that caution. Them getting there, but I was going to give it everything I had to keep it. But see the points lead expand and all that, and it's definitely a good feeling.
And it's always been an intriguing type of racetrack throughout this series as time here past, because battles have been intriguing, but also that difficulty to make said moves. You mentioned the feeling of it being different tonight. What was kind of that mindset, knowing you had to adapt, knowing that top line wasn't there like you mentioned?
Well, it was one of those things that I didn't know if I was taking care of my front or not, and behind Justin, and and then we got that start, and I had to go in a little bit deeper, and there were a couple times where I wasn't running them as tight, and all of a sudden the car just felt like it took off in its center, and it was like, okay, so now we got to run a little bit closer to him here. Can't give him as much space because I'm not sure what the difference was. I haven't checked out the set for myself, but it's just making that adjustment, and then it's just being able to do that I was able to make the outside work enough that I got around there, and before the tires got heated up too much.
Now, next time out, it's going to be intriguing. Things play out knowing you've got yourself a championship buffer now, but it's linear that's next. Thoughts for the linear raceplex for that race on the 26th?
Did some races in official there a couple weeks ago, tried to learn the track better, and I think even though I didn't take care of the right front today, it's more linear, it's more burn up the right rear, and that's something I had learned how to do better there, and something I did pretty decently tonight. So it's one of those things. Even if there is a bumper or a buffer, I've got a race like JR is just right behind me still, because 4 points sounds like a big buffer in this league, but it's not. So, just got to make sure to protect and pad that point lead whenever I can right now. It's got lucky enough to get a little bit of breathing room. So if I make a mistake, I can have the room to, not lose the championship lead, but, still got to be aggressive. Still got to go out there and try to earn this thing.
You want to thank for the run tonight?
Yeah, just BRL and LOL league as a whole, another good race tonight. And, huge thanks to Gargamel's Kitchen. They'll kind of pass the news on to us tonight that they decided to sign on for the next 3 seasons, and so we'll have them until the end of the year. So thanks to them as well, and just everybody else in the league. It makes it a lot of fun, and you all at Virtual Grip for putting us on, Justin, and so all that's much appreciated. So
congratulations once again on victory number 4 of the year.
Thanks, Justin.
Matthew Thunhorse once again coming away with victory tonight. Here this time in Myrtle Beach. Second spot, was closing in quickly. He led the most laps, but in the end, he ends up finishing second. It's Justin Morton with Marty Sikawa.
Justin, I'll start with letting the cat out of the bag here. If that caution does not come out, did you think you had something to catch up with Matthew Thunhorse, considering how much you were closing in?
I think I definitely would have got to the bumper. It would have been really tight getting there, but I feel like I had a chance at that. I kind of wish that caution was about, 5-10 laps earlier. It would have been a really good battle. Austin was coming just as fast behind me, so I think it was just going to be us 3 just bunching up on the final lap, and I don't know how that would have ended.
What do you take away from this race as a whole? Would you consider this to be your best run of the season so far?
Yeah, I feel this is probably one of my best runs. I've been good at this track in past seasons. It broke my winless streak. I don't remember how many races it was, but this one was the one that broke it. I've always just felt really good at this track, and I love coming here. A little bummed out we won't be coming back with these cars next time.
Yeah, definitely for those wondering, we are switching to super late models next season. Tomorrow there is a big race happening somewhere down in Florida. You got a prediction to win?
It's so hard to make a prediction for those kinds of races. I'm not a fan of plate racing. I don't really like watching it. I don't like racing it on iRacing. If I just had to throw one person out there, I'll say Joey Logano. He's always been really good at plate racing. He'll have to be starting from pretty far back, I think, because he wrecked in the duel, but there's plenty of time to make your way up to the front at Daytona.
What do you want to give shout-outs to tonight?
I'd like to thank my team, Dole Down Force Racing, Pixel Dust for the awesome paint, Gargamel's Kitchen for sponsoring the series, Lowell for running this awesome league, and thank you guys for doing the broadcasting.
Appreciate it, Justin. Great run tonight.
Thank you.
Justin Morton finishing in second position, and I think our other Justin has Austin Belkey.
Yes, indeed. And first things first, Didn't you say you didn't think you would have the speed to battle for the race win, and it turns out, in the end, Austin, you were the fastest car on the track before the caution.
Yeah, I did say that. Fortunately, this time I will eat my words. I was just as surprised as you guys. I figured I didn't have as much speed, but I guess all the riding around I was doing, going as fast as I needed to for the first 60 laps, saved my tires, and I could tell I was the fastest at the end. I was catching Justin just as fast as he was catching Matt, and it was going to be a really awesome race there. By the end, if we didn't have a caution, I was really hoping there'd be a caution, but one with like 10 or 15 to go, and I think we would have had a pretty good shot at it.
I was going to say, you were closing in bunches, about a 10th per second per lap before the caution with a few laps to go in this one. What really feel like changed, not just with the tire save, but just in terms of how you just seem to start getting to the rhythm to the point where you're just catching time in bunches once you found a way around Shepard?
Honestly, I feel like it was just I really found something that worked in the middle of 1 and 2 when I was trying to hold off Mark there. So, and then after that, once I got past JR, I just kind of started hitting my marks, and I feel like it was just I was trying harder at the end than I was all race long. I was finally trying to go after it and see what all I could get to see if I could run down Justin and Matt. It's just unfortunately they were too far out. So I think it's just the effort applied and how much I was really trying to get time.
Next time out, Lanier, thoughts on going to that tight racetrack?
It's always fun. We've had some ups and some downs there. I don't think I'll be able to be here next week, so I wish the best of all the competitors. Hopefully my Different Path Motorsports teammate can go out there and get himself another win.
Want to thank for the run tonight?
Long list of people. First off, JR, my team Different Path Motorsports, the good Lord, my parents, my amazing girlfriend Jacqueline for cheering me on all the time, you guys for bringing our awesome races to the fan, Lowell for putting this league on, and Gargamel's Kitchen, they're a great sponsor for us. Pretty awesome news to hear that they're going to be around for the rest of 2022, so it's going to be awesome to continue to have them as a partner. Just unfortunate we're losing these fantastic looking cars. I'm going to have to go scrounging around for paint schemes now.
Congratulations once again on the run. Good luck on finding as many Jeff Gordon super late model paint schemes as possible.
Thanks, Justin. See you guys.
Austin Belkey paint hunting after a podium run tonight. I'd like to thank him for being a pit reporter, or rather, our in-race reporter as well. Good morning to Matthew Thunhorse jumping in on our post-race coverage. Now, Marty, tonight definitely brought some intrigue, especially when it came to some of the shuffling for the race lead and the impact of tire saving. Your final thoughts, it seems, after how tonight played out.
Yeah, this was definitely a race that did not disappoint for sure, whether it be on the short and the long runs and definitely using up tires. That's pretty much the motto of what this, or the object of what this league is all about. Race for 100 laps, but at the same time, gotta conserve those tires no matter what happens. Always a thing that happens in iRacing. Next week, Lanier, a track that pretty much everybody has, and it comes with iRacing without question. Drivers definitely have had time with ARCA cars at Lanier in the past for sure. And that will be one to look forward to. I think I'd pretty much call it a race that could be similar to South Boston, as the tracks are a lot similar.
With that, we'd like to thank you for tuning in for tonight's action, as well as give one more shout out to the sponsor of this series, Gargamel's Kitchen, a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, and a proud sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. Visit their office at 2045 South Valentia Street, or give them a call at 720-707-6178. The next time the Grand National Series is talked about hits the racetrack is at Lanier. That'll be Saturday, February 26th. Catch that for round number 8 at 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time. Meanwhile, Virtual Grip Network, the next time it's on the air, is Tuesday, February the 22nd, for what should be an intriguing run of PGRL Premier Series action, because those drivers are looking to try and have a strong run in Fontana at Auto Club Speedway. Once again, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. With that, we'd like to thank you once more for tuning in to tonight's action. My broadcast partner tonight, Marty Sikawa, for our producer, Daniel Handover, for the rest of our crew. This has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Congratulations to Matthew Thunhorst, your winner in Myrtle Beach.